There are schools in our area that don't have school resource officers. Some schools have designated police departments, others just have local police officers check in. That Mod Podge approach is hard to track. Soon that could change.
What's up, man? Did you miss me?
Officer Antoine Jones is a regular face inside John Adams High School in South Bend.
Being a school resource officer, we're assigned to the schools.
Jones has been an SRO for 12 years.
I've always enjoyed working around kids. I think that's kind of my calling, working with kids, coaching, and I enjoy it.
And while Jones wears a badge and carries a gun, his main role inside this school is to build relationships.
SROs are extremely important. We provide that bridge of communication between today's youth and police officers, because a lot of times if the only interaction or the only influence they're getting from police are the bad things they see on TV, they don't have an understanding for what we do outside of that. And we help them understand that we're human. We make mistakes just like anybody, but more importantly, we care.
A new law signed by the governor this spring makes more clear the role of SROs like Jones.
Many times police officers have to deal with very complex issues. In schools, that can even be compounded when you add in adolescent brain development.
Chase Lyday is the president of the Indiana School Resource Officers Association. He helped create the legislation included in House Bill 1093. The law says all school resource officers will need to receive specific training by next summer. It requires schools and officers inside school buildings to agree on terms, and it will make more clear which schools in the state have SROs.
Because up until this legislation passed in 1093, school resource officer was a very subjective term. If you identified as a school resource officer, then we counted you in. If you said, I'm not an SRO, I'm just a cop working in schools during the day, well, you could do that also. And that also means now you don't have to be trained if you don't call yourself an SRO. This legislation closes that loophole.
Many schools in our area have school resource officers, but not all. Lyday says no matter what schools choose, he wants to make sure the officers who walk through the doors of a school building are prepared.
Girl, I'm going to be the SRO at prom.
Jones admits his job isn't always easy, but he says the majority of the time there is nowhere else he'd rather be.
All right, you guys. Have a good day.
There is much more to the role of an SRO, and we're taking an in-depth look at the best and most difficult parts of their jobs. Make sure to watch Wednesday's Operation Education Report at 6 p.m. In the studio, Kristen Bean, WSBT 22 News.